Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Amy Giroux, joining you live from my home in Gatineau, Quebec to yours to deliver what we like to call here at Global Vision, some great news. I would like to thank all our viewers who have written in to ask what's been happening with SGN lately, and the answer is we were incredibly busy delivering the first ever virtual National Youth Ambassador Caucus 2020, where I had the privilege of working with amazing young leaders from coast to coast to coast that took on the challenges of building a more inclusive and diversified country, looking at our social justice system, and dealing with mental health during these troubling pandemic times. Presently, our ambassadors are working on delivering community projects from across the country, and I look forward to working together with them. And this is what makes me so excited about our next guest today. It's a pleasure to have joining with us live from Toronto, Ontario, the Honourable Stephen Lecce, Minister of Education for the Government of Ontario and Global Vision grad. Good afternoon, Stephen.
Hey, Amy, great to be with you.
Yes, well, thank you for joining us. I know it's an incredibly busy portfolio, and the number one question that's on all of our minds is, what is the classroom going to look like in September 2020?
Well, first off, I just want to say it is really amazing to be with you. Just a great proponent, a great supporter of the work you're doing and inspiring young minds to really reach to the top and do their best. And you've got an alumnus across the political spectrum, and I'm proud to be one of yours. But in the context of schooling, look, it's going to be a new normal. I think we've all accepted that, with the challenges of COVID-19, we have both a challenge and an opportunity. And I think for us, as the obligation of the government is to ensure two things are achieved, the most basic objectives. One is from a pedagogical perspective to ensure kids remain learning, quality education led by their educators under any circumstance, no matter what manifests in the fall. And the second is our commitment, a solemn commitment to keep kids safe and do whatever it takes to keep them and our staff and our broader community safe from the risks of COVID-19. We're working closely on that. And I'm really looking forward to our collaboration, because when it comes to the reopening of schools, it's going to take a Herculean effort of all of us working together on one mission, which is safety and the continuity of learning in Ontario.
Thank you, Stephen, for that. Given that we are just on the heels of having the National Youth Ambassador Caucus, which you were a part of a few years ago, a few years young, one of the things that was really on the minds of young Canadians is the injustice that is going on systemically, right, across the board. And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the Ministry of Education's moves towards some of the injustices that are happening in the education system.
When it comes to giving hope and opportunity to every child, I think this is perhaps at the very center of why we exist as a ministry and why I got into politics in the first place. I ran because of perspective and generational voices, and young people need to be better reflected and represented in their government. And, as you get into this, you come to appreciate that there's a differential of experience in Ontario, that there are many young people who've been left behind and who felt that for many years, for generations, in fact, governments, school boards, they just simply have not been responsive to their needs and ultimately to their aspirations. And so when you look at racialized Ontarians, where we have disproportionate levels of young Black and racialized kids, Indigenous, being streamed into the applied, into the sort of there's the academic and applied streams in education in Ontario. And when you see 25% of kids who are streamed in Ontario to apply, but roughly 46% of kids in Toronto, for example, where the data is public, are Black, it demonstrates that the disproportionality of that decision to stream is impacting these communities. And I think as parliamentarians, we have a duty to say, look, these systemic barriers must be broken down. It requires an element of political courage to do that. And so we've been listening to parents and students, and they've been the most persuasive, I think, in really demonstrating to government that we've got to act on this and we've got to get on with it. So for 11 months, I've been working on this, and we launched a plan to de-stream grade 9 curriculum. We're the only province in the country that streams in grade 9 anyway. We're the earliest streamer, if you will. And so that will change as a consequence of that advocacy from those racialized communities, low-income, First Nation, et cetera. We've also announced the changes to suspension policies. And the fact is, Amy, disproportionately high levels of suspension of from kindergarten to grade 3 of Black racialized kids in the U.S., likewise of males, of young boys, of the LGBTQ community. And you ask yourself, what is it about a kindergarten child from a certain community that is predisposed to create problems? And they're not. What we need is greater investments and support for these kids to give them greater pathways of success and change behavior and recondition them. And I think that is the approach we're taking on suspensions that have, again, disproportionately impacted these communities. And we're taking efforts to better ensure diversity from our directors of education to our teachers. They better reflect the communities they serve in, because right now they just simply don't. So we're taking a lot of action in this respect. We know there's more to do, but at the end of the day, it's really part of a broader vision, which is to give a sense of hope to these children that have felt ignored and give them a pathway to success. So that's what we're really working on. And I know that we announced one plan, but we're going to have to continue to take incremental action to get this right and put them on the pathway to success.
Thank you, Minister, for that. I'd like to commend the Government of Ontario and your ministry for taking action, as this is something that I know that our youth are so passionate about, is seeing it's time for a change. So I commend the government for doing that. Now I'd like to, I know that our president and founder has a question for you, but first I have to throw it to my little ray of sunshine, Michael Badass, our reporter from Calgary, Alberta, giving us some great news, both on the national front and on the sporting side. Michael, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Minister Lecce, again for joining us today. I have two great stories to share with us today that are very local to Canada. The first of which is involving the sporting world. So the National Hockey League has announced that in stage 4 of their return to play protocol, the two hub cities are going to be selecting will be both in Canada, one in Toronto, Ontario, native to Minister Lecce, and also in Edmonton, Alberta. This is a great win for Canada. It's going to bring a certain amount of economic impact, as well as going to really give fans across Canada something good to cheer about amidst otherwise dark time. On August 1st, the quest for Lord Stanley, the Holy Grail of hockey, will commence in both Edmonton and Toronto. We're all looking forward to that very much so. And next, we have a story from the national front. So, University of Toronto has overseen the testing of a mask that basically deactivates 99% of COVID symptoms and airborne symptoms. U of T researcher Scott Gray-Owen's lab oversaw this. This is the first mask of its type in Canada, and it's a great win for Canada in the COVID fight worldwide. We hope this can bring some great impacts worldwide in this fight against COVID, and also putting Canada on the map yet again for great innovations in science and for humanity. Back to you, Amy.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for sending me those smiles. I missed those in the last couple of weeks while we've been off the air delivering the caucus. Now it is my pleasure to introduce the president and founder of Global Vision, 29 years young, my number one dad, Terry Clifford. Dad?
So, Stephen, this is a really wonderful opportunity to see you again and see you in this role. I was so happy when it was announced, first of all, that you wanted to be in public life, but then to be minister of what has turned out to be a very, very controversial, heavy load of a job. So I congratulate you and look forward to whatever the new normal for schools is going to be, particularly since I'm a former educator. But let's take a look at the past. Think back to 2008 when you got to Peru with the APEC team and Prime Minister Harper. What I would like you to talk about for a minute is what went through your mind in that experience that prompted you to seek a life in government.
Terry, we can't see you.
Oh, you can see me. There.
Okay.
Sorry. You could hear me? You heard my question, Stephen?
Yes, yes. Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, look, I think, the experience I had in Global Vision, and to be quite fair, having had the benefit of getting to know you and your family, and providing that mentorship, I think really helped motivate me, and I would argue a lot of generation of young people to take, to take action to try to achieve the grand, visions we have and the aspirations we have, and really want to be a nation for change. And you look back on your life and in a record of service, I think it really motivated a lot of young people to want to get out there and do it ourselves. And I think, when I was in Peru, first time I visited South America with, of course, Junior Team Canada, representing our country abroad at APAC. And we met Prime Minister Harper, and it was the first time I met him in any formal way. And of course, when we did that, oh my goodness,
there you are.
These are criminal photos. I did not know these were coming on, so I'm shocked and appalled, Amy. But I will tell you that this was, and I believe that was our ambassador at the time, but really an incredible opportunity to represent Canadian economic and interests, security interests, and our values abroad. And I will argue that in those meetings with the Prime Minister Harper and with other foreign leaders, we were able to make the case for ensuring young voices are part of those decision making when it comes to trade expansion or job creation or economic growth. And I think that was a material success. We also promoted Canadian industry abroad. And I think that was very empowering because, as you can see, we were young people, very young people, in our early 20s, and yet we had profoundly impactful roles that you gave us and mandates that you gave us. So, look, it was obviously it was sort of like an EMBA. Very early in my life, I got this amazing opportunity to go do what I wanted to do later in my life, very early in my life. And you learn very quickly when you're on your feet and you're surrounded by good mentors. So, look, it was an amazing experience, and I know the Prime Minister Harper, and to be fair, Prime Ministers before him and after him continued to meet with Junior Team Canada because of the values you represented, because the quality of young people you're able to select. So it's a great program, and I reflect on that. In fact, I was just looking at a photo from Peru with Brian, who we had some hilarious photos of us in our hotel, and just reflecting on the great memories we have, meeting people that, on all of our cases, have succeeded in life in private and public leadership, and we still stay in touch.
Oh, it was a great team, Stephen, and you did wonderful work in 2008. And I was delighted when you called me and told me that you were going to forego your law education at the time and go and work in the Prime Minister's office. That was definitely taking a less traveled road. So I was happy that you did that.
Well, and I think that's actually in helpful context, because after meeting the Prime Minister, I then became president of my University Students' Council at Western, and by doing so, part of a national organization advocating for university students' interests, I was able to meet the Prime Minister, and by doing so, that sort of opened up a door into his office, and he hired me as a young person working directly for him after I graduated and after I served as president for a year. And again, a lot of these amazing interactions all go back to that original meeting supported by Junior Team Canada. And again, it's these moments that you don't even know, in real time could literally create pathways for you 2, 3, 6 years down the road. But it was an honor to serve the Prime Minister in our Parliament, and again, to just be able to demonstrate an element of leadership as a younger person in government is a very important thing for our democracy. And so I'm very grateful for the introduction through you, Terry, and I think it's all helped me as I built my career and tried to pursue public service like you did a few decades ago.
All right. Now, what I want to ask you and leave with you are really two more things. Next year is our 30th anniversary of Global Vision, and God willing, I'll be with it and enjoying a celebration event, which we will hopefully schedule in 2021. And I would certainly like you to be there and be a part of that. So I want to issue the invitation now so you know. And the other thing that I would like to bring up and like you to consider, because you know full well the quality of the young leaders that Global Vision produces. And we have so many from Ontario that are very, very interested in getting involved in projects and helping other people. And I'd like you to think about, as you develop the new normal for education, can you also be thinking about how Global Vision can be a part of that? How can Global Vision help the Ministry of Education make sure that all young Ontarians get the best out of their education? We have the people, very, as you know, very willing and able and energetic. And I'm trying to find opportunities for them. So I'd like you to think about that and know that we have some very, very good people in every corner of the province that would be allies and aides for your ministry.
Yeah, no, listen, I obviously very excited. 30 years is not a small feat of inspiring young people. So what I'd say is, very much look forward to participating in any way to celebrate it and find synergies to get more young people involved in government, and obviously continue to find pathways to support them in our democracy. And so, the answer in short is yes. Any way we can collaborate to support that. Obviously, the immediate priority will be, getting kids in schools for September. But obviously, as we look at 2021 and give the people time, we'll continue our discussion about how we can get the talent that you have, help cultivate and put them to work and give them opportunities that I know that would be impactful for them.
Well, thanks very much, Stephen. We look forward to watching your immediate future unfold in September, and with a great deal of interest as an Ontarian. I wish you the best of luck, and I'm so proud of you because you're our first minister. So, yeah, you're first. We've had mayors, but you're our first minister, and you never know. You could be our first prime minister. So I'm just hoping I'm alive to see one of them happen. And you took a giant step forward, and I'm so proud of you. I mean that to the bottom of my heart. So I'm glad you found time for us today. And I always said to Amy, I knew he would. And there he is in the flesh. But right now, where are you living? In Vaughan?
I'm up in Vaughan, yeah. Right now.
Yeah, and we've got some great young kids from Vaughan.
Yes, Nicholas Bodger. Do you remember Nicholas Bodger? He's a really incredible talented guy. He's a friend of mine. I've mentored Nicholas, a great guy. No, listen, your organization, including in my own community, has really supported so many young people. But I appreciate your confidence, Terry, and I really appreciate the support you've given me over many years before I went to Western and thereafter. And all I can say to young people watching is it's made an impact on my life, and I know it will on yours. So thank you so much for all you've done for us, for young people in the country, right across the country, Terry. You've spent 30 years in the business. Just a few years short of my time on Earth, but all I can say is thank you for doing everything you've done, and it's amazing to see you. Actually, we haven't seen each other, maybe phone calls, but not so much the Zoom stuff. So it's nice to see you. Likewise, Amy. Great to meet you, Michael and David, and I wish everyone well.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Lecce. Stephen, it was so wonderful to see you. Your conversation with my dad is bringing tears to my eyes, because I know how much it meant to all of us that you were able to join us. And as my dad mentioned, to have the first minister in our alumni is quite an honor. So thank you for taking time out of your busy day. And I know you've got a big agenda handling the Minister of Education, and good luck to bring back all of our young Ontarians safe into the classrooms.
Okay. Pardon me.
Yeah, I'm just going to give a shout out actually to a fellow Torontonian who actually was on our Some Great News a few episodes back. I'd like to say congratulations to Matthew Cuesta, who rode 46 kilometers for 46 days in honor of George Floyd. He finished on July 14th and was nominated as the hometown hero with Global News. So congratulations, Matthew, and I really look forward to working together with him to help combat racism in Canada. So thank all of our guests for joining us today. I wish everyone to stay strong and stay healthy, and have a wonderful day.